Okay, got them all batch cut. I'm not going to cut my cheeks yet. I'm going to wait until I do my mortises. So I'm confident that these are all going to line up. So I'm going to take one of my legs and I've got layout lines on these legs here. I'm going to establish them on this one here. So 2 inches down from the top, 5 inches from the bottom, and then 2 more inches. I'm going to lay out an inch and a half, inch and a half mortise inside of those lines, and an inch and a half up here. And then the thing that I've got to be concerned about is making sure that I'm at the correct angle here. And the correct angle, like this one. Yeah, there. That's the correct angle to get 90. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do here. I think the wedges came off of this side. So if I put it on the back side, it should give me my drilling angle at 90 degrees. So let me go set that up on the drill press. I'm done with this setup. There's nothing more I can do with this. It is what it is. So I'm not gonna magically change things by putting that back together. Actually, I guess I can use this one. Draw my lines across this way. Okay. 2 inches down from the top. Clamp these together, bring those lines across on both of them. Each one without the burn marks will be easier to see the line. Okay, so a mortise in here. And up here. 3/8. Alright, over to the drill press. Let's see how things are going to set up over there. Okay, it took me a while to wrap my head around this, but in order for these to be parallel to the floor, I have to they have to be parallel to this cut and the one on top, which is 7 degrees. So I need to make a wedge, and I can't use this wedge because this was cut off of the inside. And actually it goes that way. I think, no, it goes the other way, sorry. But I cut the 7 degrees later. So anyway, I cannot use this wedge because that doesn't bring me back to what I want. So I have to make a 7-degree wedge similar to this to support this piece on the back edge, to bring it back to bring these lines back to perpendicular, so I can make my mortises. So I hope that makes sense. That's what I need to do. So I've got a setup over there. I'm going to I think I'm just going to cut a piece of plywood at 7, and then rip it off at the back. It'll, I'll get as long a piece as I can widthwise, and we'll go from there. So let me see if I can scrounge something up to make a wedge for my setup here. All right, I found this piece of plywood. You can see it's got a pretty good cup in it. But I'm gonna, this corner is square, and that's what I need. I need a good square edge to get an accurate cut here. So I'm gonna try this and see how it turns out, and we'll go from there. Put that underneath my leg, my original straight edge of the leg. That should bring me back to what I need. So I'm gonna do a little real-time check over here, a real life check. I'll put this underneath it and then put a square on my work table there, and see if the line is reasonably close to parallel. So here we are. So this goes like that. And these lines should be perpendicular to the table, my work table. And we have a bingo. So let me see if I can turn this around for you. Now I don't know if this is going to be, can you see that there? Let's do this one. Maybe that'll sneak underneath there better. Yeah, there. So there's my line, which is what I drew for the stretchers, and you can see that it's reasonably parallel. So I'm not cutting another wedge. So I'll make this work. So that's where I have to be, right there. That's so close, it's unbelievable. So that's what I'll have to do with on my drill press over there. I'll use this setup. I'll have to do all the upper mortises. Oh, let's see, I gotta have that. I can't have that touching there. It's gotta be up in the air. So I have to set it about like that in order for this end can't touch. Well, let's go over to the drill press and let me see if I can get something set up. Okay, I had a conversation with Allan, and he doesn't like the idea of tipping this table. He says it can get a little wonky if you do that. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to use my wedge. We talked about doing it with a router, putting this wedge on the router and changing the angle of that, but I can't see that happening right now. So what I've done here is I've located this brad point bit, and it's the 3/8, as close to dead center as I can get it. And here's the reason why. I thought if I center it up, I can do all 16 of them this way, and then do the top mortises and then do the middle mortises, or the bottom one I should say. But after thinking about that, if I'm a little bit off, what happens then is that error is going to double when I go to do the mating leg, because if I'm off a hair this way, when I go to flip them, I'm going to be off 2 hairs, and I don't want that. I don't want this thing shifting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8 this way and 8 this way. And what I've got is I've put little arrows on here. I don't know if, let me see if I can show you that. If you look at this, I've got arrows right at the top pointing the direction I need this to face, this way to the fence. So I'm going to do 8 this way, top mortises, flip my stop around here to the other side, flip my wedge around to the other side, and then use this as a locating setup for my drill bit, so I get them, this part I can deal with if they're not perfect this way, but I want to get it relatively close. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got it set for the top. I'm going to use a 3-2-1 block for my spacing. So my mortise will be 1 3/8. I thought I'd do 1.5 inches, but this just makes it easier. So I'll put this in here, drill my top, drill my bottom, and then be able to work on the in-between. So this board here is my extra leg. So, and it's square. I've got everything. I got everything where I want it. This is nice and square. So I'm ready to try this out. So here we go. I broke my glasses earlier, so I got to get those fixed. But I can still line up the piece here. So let's see how this goes here. I forgot to mention, my depth of cut is set for 1.5 inches from that point right there. Okay, so let's slide this up. Loosen this one. Nice and square. And then 1 inch. It looks pretty good to me. I think with very little cleanup, that'll be a nice mortise. Very little cleanup. And it looks like she's pretty well centered. Got about 5 millimeters, 5 plus. Get about 5 plus. I think that is the way I'm going to go. And then I'll be able to cut my tenons to fit the mortise this way. So I will be doing mortises for a while. Let me get this cleaned up. I'm going to have to clean up after each one because I want to make sure I'm flush to my fence and everything is nice and straight and true. So I'll bring my vacuum over here, clean up after each one. I'll do, like I said, eight this way and 8 the other way. Okay, still doing the same side in. I'm doing the short or the stretcher down here in the bottom. So here's the setup I've got going. I did not move my wedge. That stayed the same. I'm going to have to change my depth of cut though. Just notice that now. So I'll raise that up. Gotta remember that before it was 1.5 inches for the top one. The bottom will be 2.5. It'll still give me a deep enough mortise. Let me adjust these nuts up here. Easier said than done. I gotta get a wrench. Okay, got that taken care of. So I'm going to be about 1.25 inches deep on this mortise. This one is about probably about the same. Yeah, about the same. So I got my 2 settings here. Anyway, as I slide past the wedge, I get a better grip here with this clamp, because I'm grabbing just about the whole thing, but I didn't have any way of grabbing it here. So I have this piece of 18-inch 1.5 by 3.5 extrusion. I double stacked it and made sure that it was parallel here. Everything was lined up. And that works out great. So I put a stop here, and now I can use this clamp because I ran out of festool clamps. This one here to grip the top, this one to grip the bottom. And I'll still use my spacing here for 1 inch, which gives me 1 3/8 inch mortise. There's one completed leg. Well, not completed, I gotta clean them up, but it's looking really good. I like it. I know it's gonna take some chisel work, but a sharp chisel, that won't take long to clean up those sides. So there you go. One down, 8 more to go because I got my spare on this side here, but it's taken me probably an hour to do the first set of mortises, and I'm thinking these will go quicker because I got a little bit of a rhythm going. So hopefully I can get these done in a couple hours or so, get everything done. I'll just keep working away, and when I get them all done, I'll come back and show you what I have.